As we've been seeing for the past 2 years now, Rooster Teeth has constantly been just falling apart. Scandal after scandal, just tons of issues coming from this company. Well, guess what? Apparently, reportedly, they are now officially for sale. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. Finally, apparently it's happened. Rooster Teeth is apparently up for sale. The news hit on my own birthday, which was Friday. Absolutely hilarious, because like people were just like sending me messages, and I was like, wait a minute, what? I saw this, and I was like, wow, this is something. So, I would have had videos, but had family visiting and whatnot, so do apologize for that. But had a good birthday. I want to thank all of you for the birthday wishes. It was a great day, and so I just want to thank all of you for that. So we have a lot to talk about, and the first thing here will be Rooster Teeth, because AT&T explores sale of Rooster Teeth online media unit. And the big thing about Rooster Teeth is this company is terrible. It's trash. It's been falling apart. It is a terrible company. And, they've been doing awful for a while. And if you were to look at every news outlet for the most part, majority of them are actually talking about this, about how AT&T is seeking to sell it off. And, why wouldn't they? Why would you want to have a terrible company under your belt? I mean, going for Crunchyroll as well to sell that off because, they're looking to get rid of their debt because AT&T is in such massive debt. And they're looking to unload it. That's why they were trying to get rid of Crunchyroll, which that sale might not even go through, because antitrust and everything. But you look at this. AT&T explores sales of Rooster Teeth online media unit. This is very vital because Rooster Teeth themselves, they're damaged goods. I'm going to get into that in a second. So this is from Bloomberg. AT&T Incorporated is seeking buyers for Rooster Teeth Productions LLC, a piece of its Warner Media division, as part of an ongoing winnowing of non-core assets by the phone giant, according to people familiar with the matter. Now look, one thing that many of us YouTubers have been talking about is this. We've been telling people, hey look, Rooster Teeth is not important. They could get the axe as much as anyone else. I mean, they're willing to be like, hey, we're going to sell off Crunchyroll. Rooster Teeth is less than what Crunchyroll even has to offer. They have less to offer. So, if Crunchyroll is going to kick the bucket by being sold off, then yeah, of course, you better expect Rooster Teeth to as well. We were all right about that. And people were calling us loons, crazy, but we were right. And I mean, I had sources coming to me telling me about this stuff, and I mean, a lot of insane things has gone on. And, it still continues to. It's not even done. It's still continuing to go on, which is awful. And, all these scandals, all this bad reputation this company's been having go on, yeah, of course Warner Media and AT&T are not going to put up with that. And, getting rid of this company is something that they seek to do, apparently. The pandemic has complicated efforts to sell the business, said the people who asked not to be identified because the matter is private. Rooster Teeth canceled its annual RTX convention last year in Austin, Texas, and in June, co-founder Bernie Burns, who served as chief executive officer, left the company. Yeah, I mean, most of the big wigs over there have left the company. Most of them are just outright gone. It wasn't clear how much money AT&T is seeking for the business. Oh, a lot. The reason why their first subscription was even boosted was because they were losing profit. They were losing money, and they needed to actually boost it. Why do you think that they boosted it up by 60%? That's ridiculous, but that's exactly what they were doing. $120 for a subscription for a year. No, that is far from worth it because Rooster Teeth doesn't even produce anything good. So why would you want to pay $120 a year for just trash? I don't think anybody would want to. The phone company has been paring assets to focus on key areas, including its new 5G wireless business, which requires billions of dollars of investment. AT&T also is expanding its fiber optic footprint and boosting movie and TV production to attract subscribers to HBO Max, the new streaming service run by Warner Media, which there's been talks of them merging Adult Swim into HBO Max. I mean, that's their big focus. It's just HBO Max. That is the number one thing they're going into here. As AT&T discovered with its DirecTV satellite television division, declining businesses aren't an easy sell. Yeah, Rooster Teeth's not an easy sell. Like, that's a damaged brand. Like, who in their right mind would willingly be like, yeah, I want to buy Rooster Teeth? Like, Like, they've damaged their entire brand. So, I mean, why, who logically, I'm serious, who logically would want to buy this dying company? I know I wouldn't. I mean, I definitely would not. Like, any smart business would not buy Rooster Teeth, in my opinion. I mean, it's either they're going to get sold off or they're probably going to get absorbed. I'm telling you right now, what's probably going to happen is if there is no deal made with a company to buy them, then they're probably just going to absorb them. I mean, it's like Rooster Teeth's been making content for HBO Max anyways. I mean, Genlock Season 2 is going to be on HBO Max, which that show didn't even take off. It was absolutely dreadful. Terrible show. I would not recommend it. It's awful. But it's like they've just been making content for HBO Max. After seeking a buyer for that division for months, the company decided to spin it off into a joint venture with the private equity from TPG. Now, this is important. I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say here because this is vital. Even before the pandemic, Rooster Teeth was struggling, which, yes, they were. You know, after Volume 6 of RWBY, one big thing that happened was they decided to be stupid and fire Vic Mignogna for false allegations. And then, of course, that's when all the skeletons fell out of their closets slowly but surely. And that's when all the scandals started really coming out and all the big issues. That is when things got a lot worse. I mean, it really did. So 2019 was when it really hit. And that's when it just got worse for Rooster Teeth from there. Revenue slumped to about $50 million in 2019 from about $70 million a year earlier. One of the people said it was founded 18 years ago as a web-based video producer. The business expanded into gaming, podcasts, t-shirts, and fan conferences. Today, it is best known for the animation series RWBY, which is a dying IP. RWBY has been doing terrible for years. You know, like, the first 3 volumes were the peak. That's when it was at prime popularity, and that's when it was actually good. I mean, I'm not saying it was like the best show in the entire world, but it was fun. People could enjoy it, and it was actually good. But then, of course, you get to Volume 4, which was boring. Then Volume 5 is where it all just went downhill. That's what divided the fandom, and then, of course, from there on, it just got worse. Volume 7, Volume 8 are, in my opinion, the worst volumes ever. They are absolute dog shit. They're terrible. Absolute trash. Other small divisions have also been unloaded. AT&T agreed to sell the anime creator Crunchyroll to Sony for $1.2 billion last year. Now, that may not happen, seeing the antitrust. Now, if that goes through, then Sony's not going to get it. So, who knows? Sony does not need it, though, because they will have a monopoly on anime if they do get it, and that would be awful. And has also parted with its Puerto Rico phone operations, a stake in Hulu, a Central Europe media group, and nearly all of its offices at New York's Hudson Yards. Rooster Teeth was part of Otter Media, an early foray into media by Dallas-based AT&T that preceded its $85 billion takeover of Time Warner Incorporated in 2018. Now, this tells you, though, like, when you look at Rooster Teeth, with what they were making, it just doesn't fit the standard for Warner Media or AT&T and what they would make. I mean, like, all these podcasts, video game stuff, what all they were doing, it just doesn't really fit. You look at all the scandals that have been constantly coming out. I mean, you look at the news, and you can look at everything. I mean, you know, the Ryan Haywood and Adam Kovic issue, you have all that. And you have a lot more scandals than just that going on. You have a lot of people that were leaving the company that were founders included. You know, when you think about founding members leaving, you know, all the people that people like the most, well, yeah, that kind of tells you that there's a bad sign, especially when you have employees leaving all the time and tons of layoffs. That is never a good sign for a company. Never. Then you look at the DC Comics lines of the final print issues for RWBY and Genlock. Yeah, well, they were canceled because they weren't popular, because they weren't selling. I mean, you know, that's the problem. RWBY is declining in popularity. Genlock never even took off at all. Like, you know, that was what cost millions to make. And yeah, they lost all that money and never got it back. I mean, that's why AT&T wanted Genlock Season 2 to be on HBO Max. They thought they could get money off of that. Yeah, that's not going to happen. it's not going to happen. And then RWBY having a crossover with Justice League, that's because the IP is failing and they're trying to get it out there. It's like when DC and Marvel years ago was failing and they did a DC Marvel crossover to get more money and to get fans invested in that. That's why they did it. That's why these crossovers happen sometimes, is to, you know, bring awareness to possibly a failing franchise. And, you know, you look at all the damage control this company tried to do, like when they were talking about the 8 myths about RWBY on YouTube. Yeah, that was one of the worst things ever, where they were going after anybody that was saying that, oh, well, why would you take it off? That's a dumb move. And they're like, well, we're doing it because it's a smarter move. No, Ruby was found better on YouTube. I mean, it was so stupid. And look, their channel has been failing on YouTube. They have been losing subscribers constantly. And I mean, their YouTube channel is falling apart. Back in January 2019, before they fired Vic, they were at 9.72 million subs, I believe. I think it was around that much. They were almost at 10 million. And then it just went down. And I mean, of course, for good reason, because they fired Vic, and then they just started losing subs like crazy. They started dropping like an anchor, and that's what they get. I mean, they're a failing company, and you can see it. I mean, you look at these views, they don't get subscribers, though. That's the thing. You look at it, it's predicted that they will be at 9.32 million subs tomorrow. That's less than what they have right now, apparently, which is 9.33. That's bad. This is the sign of a failing YouTube channel right here. They're not getting any more subs. And I mean, they're even canceling podcasts now. I mean, they've been doing this because, I mean, like, what was it? Barbara Dunkelman. Oh, God, Barbara Dunkelman, that idiot. Her podcast last year was canceled. And it was because it wasn't doing well. Because none of this was performing well. And that's why they're cutting the podcast. Because they're not performing well. They're not bringing in the numbers. They're not bringing in the revenue. Realistically, the only thing Rooster Teeth has that is actually profitable, which is declining, is Ruby. Aside from that, they have nothing. They really don't. I mean, you look at Red vs. Blue, it died a long time ago. And, I mean, look at this. This channel itself has just stopped growing, period, at 1.8 million subs. Their animation channel. It's just gone. Then again, they privated all the Ruby content, which they were getting the most traction from. And because of that, they just failed. At this point, it's like, as I said, they're just making content for HBO Max. And, I mean, this is right here the sign of not just a dying YouTube channel, but also just a dying company. They are dying. It's because of their own mistakes in general. I mean, it's comically bad. And AT&T, they're fully aware of this. I mean, they're looking at this like, hey, look, we see the numbers. We see that they're not doing good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, sell you off or just absorb you. Because, I mean, what I was hearing was they were going to get absorbed into HBO Max, like an animation division like Cartoon Network, or be a specific one for HBO Max. That's what I heard was going to happen. But it seems, I guess, they decided to change their mind. Now, what could happen also is they could take off all the shows that Rooster Teeth has that's profitable, like Ruby, even though that's not profitable really anymore because they've destroyed that brand as well. But that's like what they could do, and then sell it off, and then Rooster Teeth has nothing to do with Ruby anymore because Warner Media owned it, and then they just place it on there. Or Genlock, which that's not even, like I said, it never took off. Genlock was trash to begin with. But my point here is that this goes to prove Rooster Teeth has not done as well as they led people to believe that they were doing. And they've continued to make mistake after mistake. Rather than learning from them, continue to get worse. They thought going woke was a good idea. And, what happens when you go woke? You go broke. And that's exactly what's happening to Rooster Teeth. They've been doing this to themselves. They constantly keep losing subscriptions. They keep losing their viewers because they keep making trash. And now AT&T's over here like, hey, look, we're going to get rid of you. And I'm telling you, what's going to happen is either A, they're going to get sold off, which they're not even worth half, not even a fraction of Crunchyroll, or B, they're going to get absorbed. This is the end game right here. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you were new here, and make sure you were still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you were still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord and Minds. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the news videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on both Discord and Minds. The links will be in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.